I am so nervous today to do this video for you all. In a way, this is a tough video for me, but in a way, I know this is going to help so many of you out there. And this is not the normal video that I do on my channel all the time. I'm doing this video in collaboration with my friend Leeshy, and basically this video is so special to me, and I hope that this video will touch so many of you and help so many of you. Both Leeshy and I have a loved one who has autism, and today I'm going to talk to you all about my son Caleb. It's so hard to this day for me to not get choked up, and in all honesty, these are more tears of joy now than they were at first. And I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the camera for a minute just so I can gain composure for just 1 second, okay? Just give me 1 minute. Breathe. I'm just telling myself to breathe. My son Caleb is 7 years old, and he was diagnosed with autism when he was 4 years old. And he was born on March 13th of 2006. The most perfect baby boy I had ever seen in my whole life. When he was born, I fell in love with him immediately. And I say this because I had fertility issues before I had him or my daughter. So to be able to have a child, number one, was just amazing. You know, it was like, oh my gosh, I have a baby now. This is so awesome. And he was born in Abilene, Texas. Me and my husband are not from Abilene. I am actually a former military wife. If any of you all are military wives or former military wives, raise your hand, because that's me. I was an Air Force spouse. My husband was in the Air Force, and he was stationed at Dyess Air Force Base back in 04. He got into the military in 03, and he got out in 07. He did his 4 years and got out. While we were in Abilene, my son Caleb was born. He was a beautiful, amazing, just the most awesome baby in the world. And you know, he was growing up and going through his milestones, and you know, he was chugging right along. 2 months, 3 months. The only thing that he hadn't done was crawl, which was crazy, but he was holding on to stuff, and you know, I could tell he was gonna walk right away. And he started saying, he said dada first. So him and my daughter both said dada first. He said dada first. Then he said mama. And he would always smile, and he would respond to his name, until one day I noticed he was about 15 months old, and he stopped talking. He stopped talking. He stopped responding to his name. And I freaked out, and I was like, what's going on? And then, being a military wife at the time, I had no friends or family in Abilene. Everybody was here back in El Paso, Texas, because that's where I'm from. And so I didn't have a lot of people to talk to. When we would take Caleb out, I would take him to like the play area at the apartment community that we lived at to see other kids, or when we were at the gym, they had a little child care, and I noticed that he would never play with other children, ever. And I was just like, what's going on? And I knew, you know, when you're a mom and you know something's wrong with your kid, you can just feel it. So automatically I went on Google and I Googled his symptoms, and then all of a sudden the word autism pops up. I was like, what is this? So I looked and I read, and he had so many of the symptoms. Not a lot, but he wasn't making eye contact anymore. He wasn't responding to his name. He stopped talking. He would jump around on his tippy toes, and we thought that it was just him. He would skip and hop, him being happy, and then he would kind of flap his hands, like hand flapping, and I saw all of these symptoms, and I was like, no, you know, he can't have autism. But in the back of my mind, I knew. I totally knew. So right away, boom, I went to his pediatrician. We got his hearing checked. We got him diagnosed, and not with autism, but with a speech delay. So right away, I was proactive. I was like, you know what? And his pediatrician wouldn't give him the diagnosis. He was like, oh, he's just young and he needs to catch up. And I was like, no, something's wrong with my son. So anyways, I got him speech therapy, occupational therapy. My husband ended up getting out of the military. We came back to El Paso, continued everything here. And meanwhile, you know, Caleb wasn't talking. We had to learn sign. And that was working. Like, he would tell us more when he wanted more. He would tell us milk when he wanted milk, or when he was hungry, you know, and he would say thank you. I mean, we had to learn all this sign, and that ended up working for him because that's how he communicated with us. And eventually, with the therapy and stuff, we started seeing a little bit of an improvement. And when he was 2, I got pregnant with my daughter. And the hardest thing that happened to me at that point was me and my husband separated. And we separated for about 4 or 5 months. It's kind of hard for me to talk about that too. We separated while I was pregnant with my daughter. And at that time, my world just crumbled, because I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? My son, there's something wrong with my son. My marriage is failing. And, you know, the world tumbled. And I had a friend at the time, and her name was Julie, and she had a son with autism. And she really snapped me out of my trance. And I thank her for that to this day. And we no longer speak. But I thank her because she said, you need to wake up and you need to focus because he needs you. And it's not that I wasn't focusing on him. I was still helping him with his therapy and stuff like that, but I just wasn't totally there. And I was like in denial. I was in denial that he had autism. He had not gotten diagnosed, but I was in such denial that I was just like, I didn't know how to deal with it. And then I had everything else going on. Plus I was pregnant. So I was like, holy crap, and emotions and hormones. And I did. I snapped out of it. Me and his dad got back together, me and my husband, and we're still together, and we're happier than we've ever been. But when we got back together, this was like a month after my daughter was born, you know, I came back with my husband, and we had Caleb in bed with us, and Leah was in her bassinet, and he was asleep, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, Caleb has a seizure. He has a grand mal seizure. I knew what that was because I had a brother named Steven that was born with cerebral palsy. And he died when he was 7. I was like 11. That's hard to talk about. And I used to see him have seizures all the time. And then I also have a sister. She's going to be 22 in 3 days. I love her to death. She has epilepsy. She has seizures. She's normal. She doesn't have cerebral palsy. And I knew what a seizure was. And then all of a sudden my son was having a seizure. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And we had to get him to a neurologist. And he was diagnosed with having seizure disorder and put on medications and everything like that. But let me tell you, you know, he was like about 2. Once he got put on seizure medications, and with more therapy, he started turning around, let me tell you. And I was working with him, the speech therapist, my grandmother. I have to tell you all, I thank my nan and my Uncle Elvin so much. My nan is my grandmother, for those of you that don't know, because they helped me so much with my son. To this day, they help me. But all of us working together, doing the therapy, reading to him, helping him do his speech. Let me say, Caleb did not start talking until he was 4 years old. But when he started saying his first words, and I think my daughter too, my daughter Leah, they're like 2.5 years apart, but she started developing normally and started talking, and Caleb started talking, and I swear, like, I thank God, because she's like my little angel baby that helped him through whatever, you know, little cloud he was in, and he just came out, and I can never forget when he started talking, and you know, it was just beautiful. So he started talking when he was 4. And then I told my husband, we need to have him diagnosed. We need to see what more we can do. So we traveled from El Paso to Dallas, Texas, to Dallas Children's. And there we got a diagnosis finally. And he was diagnosed with PDD-NOS. And let me tell you what that is, because all of a sudden he did start interacting with his sister. He still wasn't interacting a lot with, you know, other kids that much, kind of. But when he started talking, he started coming around a little bit. And they did all these tests on him, and they're like, well, we don't want to say he's totally autistic. He's on the spectrum, but not quite. So they labeled him with PDD-NOS, which is a pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified. Basically, this just states that any children or adult who are on the autism spectrum, they're any adult or child that is on the autism spectrum but does not meet the full criteria for autism or Asperger's. So Caleb is high functioning autistic, barely on the spectrum, and which was a relief for me, because I got hope, because they told me he could do really well. And so far what you're doing as a mother in advocating for him and getting him all this help, he wouldn't be where he is if you weren't there. I mean, me and his dad really spend so much time with him. We both do. And his sister helps. And that was at 4 years old. And now he is reading, he's writing, he's doing math, and I am so proud to be his mommy. I am so proud. I am so proud of my son, because he has just come such a long way, and I love him so much. So what I'm going to do right now is put in a little clip of Caleb reading his homework. Basically what he has, every Tuesday and Thursdays, he has sight words that he has to practice, and he also has to write a sentence with each sight word. So what I'll do is I'll write a sentence, and then he'll copy it, you know, and then he'll read it back to me. And he is doing amazing. So I'm going to put that clip in right now. Hi, Caleb.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
How old are you?
7.
And what grade are you in?
1st grade.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you going to read for us today?
Yeah.
Are you going to read for us your homework with your sight words?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's go. Say yay.
Yay.
Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
Ready? Start with number 1 right there. What does it say?
We saw a bird.
Okay. Number 2.
Listen to what I say.
Number 3.
She is so pretty.
Number 4.
I'm so full.
Good job. Number 5.
It is going to rain soon.
Number 6.
That is great. That is great.
Number 7.
Caleb went there.
Yay! High five! Woo! High five. Ready? Smack it. Wow, good job. You're a good reader, Caleb.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Let's show everybody your paper too. Ready? So basically what I do with Caleb he's given assignments where he has sight words, and what he has to do is copy sentences or write a sentence with his sight words that he's given. So what I do is I will write a sentence here, then he will just pretty much copy that, and then once he does that, then when we're totally finished, we'll go back and he'll read every single sentence, and if he's having any problems with blending or saying a word, then I'll go ahead and help him out. So basically he is writing really nice. Like for instance, this one, that's my sentence, there's the one he copied, here's my sentence, the one he copied, and so on and so forth. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. I've put myself out there very vulnerable, but I want to be an inspiration to those of you out there. If you have a family member, brother, sister, cousin, child like me that has autism, let me tell you that there is hope. There is so much hope, and it all starts with you. If you have just found out, go and get out there and fight. Fight for your child, fight for your brother, fight for your sister, whoever it is. You are that person's advocate. Go out. You can go to autismspeaks.org. Go to your nearest autism society where you live. Try to find other people that you know who have children who have autism. Talk to your family. Get as much help and support as you can, because you are going to need it. And your child, or like I said, brother, sister, they are going to need it as well. I will put some links down below to some places that you can go to, like autismspeaks.org. And like I said, you're the one. You're the one that's going to make a difference. Okay, because I can tell you, if I would not have gotten Caleb help at such a young age, and let me tell you, you need to start it at the youngest age possible, because once they get past 3 years, it gets harder, and sometimes they don't have a chance to recover and do as well. So the younger that you start, the better. But I'm not going to say that it's too late at a certain age, because I believe it's never too late as long as you try and you really work with your child. Then you will see a major improvement. And I thank God, and I thank everybody in my life who has supported me and helped me. I think my mom and my dad, I think my grandma, my uncles, my cousins, my husband for being so supportive. And because most husbands leave when they find out something like this, and not my husband. He loves both of our kids so much. I thank my little daughter Leah, because I know one day she's gonna see this video and she's like a little angel to him. But thank you all so much for watching. I love you all, and I will see you on my next video. Bye, you guys.